Hey, it's Haplin, and in this module, we're going to learn how to use forms to generate leads. This feature was teased a little bit earlier in the playbook. I talked about forms when we made a Linktree page, but now I'm going to show you forms on their own and how they function. So what we're going to do here is we're going to head over into Sites, and then over into Form Builder, click Forms and then Builder. Yours will be blank if this is a brand new sub account. I obviously have a bunch of test forms in this demo sub account. And to make a new form, we'll just click Add Form. We can start from scratch or use a template. Why not start with a template? All these work just fine. You can go by industry. At the end of the day, it's just a starting place. So I'll click this sign up for free one. We can get going. And once it loads up, now we are going to be taken into the form builder, which is its own entire user interface with all these different sub features, etc. Forms can get complicated in terms of what kind of information you want to collect. I highly recommend including a field for name, email, and phone number at least. Then you can also do custom fields, add your own. Obviously the quick adds, the standard fields, we can add anything we want and change the look with a line of text, for example, etc., etc. But custom fields allow us to collect any kind of information we want. So if I click add, if I want to know their pet's name, I could do this single line of text and I could call it pet name. And then the placeholder, I'll put pet name there as well. Oops, and then grouping, I want to do just contact information. And now that I've added that here in contacts, we can go try to look for pet name. And we can actually include that as a field so we can collect that information when they fill out the form. We can also create conditions for form submission with this button right here, conditional logic. So based on the way they fill out the form, if their birthday is under a certain amount, if they're younger than 18, say, like, then we disqualify the lead or something like that. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with conditional logic. And then in terms of what happens when they actually hit the sign up or submit button, that is controlled over here in styles and options, lots of different formatting stuff and ways to change the look of a form. But options on submit is where we can either have a message that populates saying, thank you for filling out this form, or we could redirect them to any URL we want. I'm not going to go super deep on every little sub feature of forms because we could be here all day, but you probably want to start out with something simple, right? Think back to the Linktree module where we're just talking about adding some sort of standard offer, some sort of reasonable excuse for us to want to collect people's contact information and a good reason for them to want to share it in order to get something for free. That's kind of the best way to think about this in terms of lead gen, getting a lead magnet set up. And again, this is quick wins. I recommend keeping it simple, just some kind of contact form. Once you're ready to publish it, go ahead and hit save. And then when it comes to actually publishing this form, there's a couple different things we can do. Back in the Linktree module, I showed you how to embed a form into a web page that you made in high level. You can also integrate it via embedding it. You can copy the embed code just the same way as the chat widget, which we also learned about. You can copy the embed code, put that into a custom HTML element on any site builder, WordPress, wherever across the web. Your form can show up that way. You can also use direct form links, which are basically just web pages dedicated to the form itself. This is how that looks here. So this form is actually live on the web, could be filled out right now on this URL. And actually, let's go ahead and fill this out really fast just so you can see what contact creation looks like. All right, so here's some test contact information. I'm gonna click sign up. And it's just going to refresh because I think the on submit was to redirect to a URL and I had that blank. So when that happens, it'll just refresh the form and nothing will happen. But now let's go back into the form builder, get out of the form builder actually and go into contacts. Here we can see my contact has just been built. The last activity was right now. It was created today. I click in here and I can actually see all the different contact information that I've generated. If I hide empty fields, we can actually see my pet name and my organization name, etc. And actually we'll notice that an email was already sent out to this lead automatically. I'm not exactly sure what the automation was in this demo account that prompted that email to get sent, but it kind of teases the next step here. So your job right now is to just get a form ready. You have a form and you have a pipeline. And in the next module, we are going to learn the absolute game-changing feature called workflows that's going to change the way you see business. Once you have at least an initial version of a form and an initial version of your sales pipeline from 2 modules ago, then you can go ahead and move on to the next module so we can learn more about workflows.